Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Shake it, but keep pointing out all the lies. Putting the scripture right in your eyes. The Bible guy. He reads Hebrew and Greek and shows you that your book's not unique. The Bible guy. He turns through the pages until every Christian rages. The Bible guy. Watch one time and you're hooked. Now let's watch why the Christians get cooked. The Bible guy.
Howdy, howdy, folks. Bible Guy here, coming at you live from Northeast Texas. How are y'all doing today? Everyone, make sure you tap that screen, share the live with those you love, with those you hate, with your friends and with your enemies. If you're on YouTube, make sure you like the live, share it out. Apparently YouTube's got this new thing. Also, I saw it yesterday where mute on TikTok. I'm muted on TikTok. Can y'all hear me on TikTok? Uh-oh, that might be a problem. Oyo says mute. I can. Aaron says he can hear me. Now we can. I can hear you. Oh, it might just have been you, Oyo. Anyways, what was I going to say? YouTube has been a pain in the butt for people. On YouTube, really cool feature I saw yesterday where I was watching unapologetic video, and there was an option to hype the video, whatever that means. I guess an option, to push it afterwards in order to make the video get more excitement around it, which is pretty cool. So if you see that when you're rewatching a Bible Guy episode, make sure you hype my videos as well, bud. Much appreciated. Saw Guns N' Roses with my teenager last night. It was cool. Wow. Okay. That's pretty cool. Love that. I haven't been to a concert since I was in high school. I went and saw Skillet in concert with Third Day. Third Day, for anyone who doesn't know, is a popular evangelical Christian band, and Skillet is they're also a Christian band. And at Brian Peck with the $5. You have Cash App set up yet? Sick of giving YouTube your money. So speaking of sick of giving YouTube my money, guys. Okay, so Justin is working on a new program for streaming, and I get beta access to it. I get to test it out. So we're going to be going live on TikTok and YouTube, testing it out. And it will allow you guys to send me super chats, and without YouTube taking a huge chunk out of the money. So, there you guys go. We'll see how that works out in the future. He said he'd get back to me this upcoming weekend about it. So, I'll be beta testing that. And also Godless Engineer has like a new Bible thing that he also has me beta testing, and maybe we'll start employing that as well in the show. I love that people suggest, think of me when they think of like, who can test out and see if this is bullshit or not. What happened to all your viewers? I don't know, bud. It's a Monday. There used to be 300 people in here. There's still 300 people in here. It's just, we just got started, bud. But if you want to make sure we got 300 viewers, share the live out. I'm going to see Weird Al in September. Weird Al still does. He still does stuff like that. Crazy. I had no idea. If you are a Christian, Muslim, Jewish person, Baha'i, I don't care what you are, as long as you believe in a God, feel free to call on up and let's see if you can give me a reason to think that God is real. I'm an atheist. I'm not convinced, but who knows? Today could be the day. Sean says best viewer right here. Okay, Sean. Okay. Someone said, sorry, I'm just a fat atheist. You know what? So am I. So it's all good. Big W out there to all my fat atheists out there. Mwah. Welcome to the club, friends. And at Brian Peck again with the $2. Skillet and Third Day were at Magic Springs. No, not Magic Springs. I went to Dallas to go see this concert. to the airport thing. I don't remember what it's called. Big old round building. There's still time for Jesus to save you? No, not if he's dead. If it's, it might be 2,000 years too late for Jesus to save me if he didn't resurrect from the dead and if he wasn't the Messiah, which, I'm not convinced that he was the Messiah or that he resurrected from the dead. But you're more than welcome to come up here and give us a reason. I think that might be the case, that your religion might be true. I repented from Jesus, functional height. So did I. I repented of all that Christianity nonsense when I was younger. I turned my life to the truth, repented of my ignorance. I want to talk to you sometime about ontological argument. Man, I'll give the ontological argument. I was thinking about making a video of top 5 worst apologetic arguments for Christianity. Here's what I have so far. As far as the top 5, I've got 4 of them. I'm just wondering what one of the 5th one will be. So, so far, the worst arguments I have are going to be the Shroud of Turism, tag, the argument from number of manuscripts, and then what year is it? So I need to come up with the 5th one. What do you think of Hellenism? Hellenism being the idea of mixing in Greek thought with other ideas, like, for example, taking Jewish ideas and then mixing in Greek ideas. I don't have any problem with it. I'm not anti-Greek. All right. Well, yeah, here, Resnul 1. Resnul, I'm going to ask you... What's up? I'm going to ask you 3 questions, and then we'll get to the conversation. Question number 1, are you at least 18?
Yes.
Question number 2, what pronouns do you go by?
I go by he, him.
And question number 3, are you a God believer or a non-God believer?
I 100% believe in God.
All right, I'm Dalton the Bible guy. Is God real? And if so, why should I think so?
I think God's real, and I think you should believe in him because he's a neo-libertarian phalangist.
I don't even know what that means.
Do you want me to pull it up for you and tell you what it is?
Yeah. He can't be anything if he doesn't exist, but
Alright. A neo-libertarian phalangist is someone who synthesizes...
It's like phalanges are referring to your fingers.
Phalangism. It's someone who synthesizes extreme individual liberty, Lazarus fair economics with authoritarian state control.
Spell that for me.
Phalangism?
Yeah.
F-A-L-A-N-G-I-S-M.
Is a far-right political ideology rooted in Spanish fascism. It combines intense... So you think you think God's Spanish?
No, but you have to add in neo-libertarianism.
Oh, it's a bit? Okay, I don't care about bits.
No, it's not a bit. What?
Anyways, I don't care about bits. Go waste someone else's time. Maybe other people like funny trolls or whatever, but you're not funny, and I don't care for that kind of shit. Imagine, God, what a pathetic existence one has to have in order to go around just trolling people like that. Go fuck yourself and go get a life. Anyways, what was I going to say? Anyways, good call. Yeah, I don't waste my time with that nonsense. I got better things to do. At Ice Cream Assassins 3006 with the $5. Only way Jesus could save me is if it were 2,000 years ago and we capsized in a boat together. Yeah, right. Yeah, Jesus could save me if, let's say, a Roman was about to accost me and then Jesus took a rock and bashed his head in or something like that. Because the only way Jesus can save me is if it was 2,000 years ago and Jesus saved me from some sort of actual real life peril, as opposed to the fictional problem of sin. If you had to choose a religion that makes the most sense to you, what would it be? Satanism. I would choose Satanism, because in Satanism you don't have to believe in any supernaturalism. You don't have to believe in God. You don't have to believe in Satan. You can be an atheist and be in Satanism and just follow the satanic tenets. I think it's a bit hokey and corny, but if I had to pick a religion, it'd have to be that one. Was it you that had the one guest that argued the Titanic wasn't real? Yes. I once had someone argue that the Titanic wasn't real. Dalton, do you have your intro somewhere I can access it? I want to show John. Oh, like I have the video on. I can send it to you. I can maybe email it to you if that's what you want. Yeah, just message me, Sean, and send me your email, and I'll send it to you. There are two Satanisms. Yes, there is the theistic Satanism and atheistic Satanism. Or DM it. Yeah, I can try and see if I can send it to you via DM. I don't know how successful I'll be doing that on my PC, but we'll try. Cringe? What's cringe? Like the last caller? Absolutely cringe. I'm forming a religion that worships Loki. Who's in? Loki, but which version of Loki? The Loki of Norse mythology or the Loki of MCU mythology? Would you say Hellenism is more realistic and notable than Christianity? Well, Hellenism's not a religion. Hellenism is just the idea of incorporating Greek thought into other streams of thought. So Hellenism is not a religion that one can follow. Now there's dodecatheism, which is the modern pagan religion of the Greeks, where they worship like gods like Zeus and Aphrodite and whatnot. There's a $10 word for you guys. Dodecatheism. From the Greek dodeca, meaning 12, because there's like a pantheon of 12 gods. You thought it was the worship of Helen. No, in Greek, the Greek language, the Greek people are called Ellenika. Hecate is a baddie. Hecate, she's the god. Is she the goddess of magic in Greek mythology? Hecate, goddess. Ancient Greek goddess of magic, witchcraft, and the night. There we go. Look at that. I know a thing or two about a thing or two. Yep, all the fan art makes her look like a baddie for sure. I just joined. I worship Hecate. Nice. Artemis has also been my favorite Greek goddess. LOL. My favorite Greek goddess is Aphrodite, goddess of beauty and fertility. If I could go back in time, I would visit her temple and I would worship. Tom Hiddleston would be my god. Would be my god. One of them. How goes it, Dalton? It goes pretty good. I'm still waiting for a theist to come up and defend their theistic beliefs. So far, we've got one troll, and you know, because that's the best theism's guy is trolls, I guess. I don't know. I don't have high hopes for theism. You can go to Greece. Yeah, sure, why not? Go to Greece. And do they have modern day priestesses of Aphrodite? Someone's two twos. If you you're just spamming. All right, I'll just mute you. If every time you people do this, where you just write in all capital letters and you just spam, it tells the rest of the audience, I don't have any good points. Jesus was Jewish. Yes. He never created a Christian. Not true. Nor did he ever claim deity for himself. I agree. The historical Jesus never claimed deity. But you don't have to yell at me and then spam in the comment section. It just tells us that you don't have any good points. Has a Christian ever gave Our Lady of Zaytun argument or the Vetrio Michaelium argument? Yes, they have attempted to do the Lady of Zaytun, but they're not able to demonstrate anything because all they have are like stories. They don't have any like scientific data backing up this claim. Did Jesus ever claim to be God biblically? Can't find it. No, he never claimed to be God biblically. He never claims to be ontologically identical with Yahweh. He might claim deity on some level in the Gospel of John and other Gospels. But he never claims to be Yahweh himself. The capital letters show insanity. I'm convinced. Out of the Gospels, who were disciples? None of them. We don't know, at least we don't know if any of them, technically they're all disciples in the sense of everyone who wrote the Gospels were probably Christian, but were they one of the 12 disciples, one of the apostles? We have no data to support that position. Howdy, Ashlyn.
Hello.
Was Luke a doctor that traveled with Paul? In reality, no. According to the narrative of the book of Acts, yes. Doesn't he say, I am bread, and then made us all gluten intolerant? Not literally, but like, that's a good metaphor for the Bible. God said, I am bread, and made us all gluten intolerant. It's so funny. Ooh, cool. Someone's name is Pax. Pax is Latin for peace. Love that. Who as a Catholic remembers going to church and singing Dona nobis pacem Agnus Dei?
We didn't sing in Latin when my stepmom's church here.
Oh,
you have some more devout Catholicism. You studied it a little harder than I think this very white suburban Catholic school group did.
My priest at the time wanted to incorporate more Latin into the Mass because he was very traditional. Qui tollis peccata mundi miserere nobis. Qui tollis peccata mundi miserere nobis. Yeah, blase. Yeah. Which, by the way, for anyone who doesn't know what all this means, Agnus Dei, Lamb of God, qui tollis peccata mundi, who takes away the sins of the world, miserere nobis, forgive us, I think is what miserere means. Yeah.
This Catholic church was like essentially kind of, it was more for like kids and community because they had there was a school attached to the church. So it was much more like, I want to say like talk to children kind of masses that we went to.
This tells me everything I need to know. When the priest did the Mass, was he facing towards the audience or away from them?
Towards.
He's going to be more of a progressive Catholic for sure.
Oh yeah. Yeah, they were definitely like I mean, what state am I in? They're very progressive. You can find the LGBTQIA plus community.
You can find very conservative Catholics even in New York. They're all over the place.
Oh, I'm sure, but just the state is typically.
Ken says, I remember Latin Mass because I am old. I prefer Latin Mass just because it's prettier. And also it makes me feel like I'm playing D&D. Does anyone remember their priest not allowing people of color to worship in the same building? Holy shit. Well, I'm not that old.
Yeah, that's probably, you'd be surprised that probably still exist.
Both are valid. I
was gonna ask something and I forgot. Oh, for communion, I guess would that be progressive to allow anyone, even if you're not confirmed, to take communion?
Yeah, it would be like, you're not allowed to do that as a Catholic. You're not allowed to give the communion bread to someone who's non-Catholic. If you're a priest and you know the person for a fact is not a member of the church, then you are supposed to withhold giving them the bread of the Mass. Blase says both are valid. I haven't seen an Ad Orientem Novus Ordo yet. So anyone who doesn't know, Novus Ordo is a phrase which means new order during Vatican II, which was a council that took place in the 20th century, the Catholic Church changed a lot of the rituals surrounding the Mass, making it to where one, you could do the Mass in anyone's language. Oh, we have a guest here. Surinamis, are you at least 18 years old?
Yeah, I'm 22. Oh, can you hear me? My box isn't like flashing up.
Yeah, I
Oh,
can hear
well,
you.
I'm assuming you can hear me because you paused.
Yeah, and what pronouns do you go by?
I use like any pronouns.
So just give us a set.
Okay, well, he, him, I guess, because I sound like a man. So.
All right, and are you a God believer or a non-God believer?
I'm a God's plural believer, so.
All right, I'm Dalton the Bible Guy. Why should I believe that the gods are real?
That the gods, I mean, like, well, first I would have to like give you specific gods that I personally think are real. There are like
Sure.
mainly 5 that I take to be real. Do you want me to list like the 5 gods and like the evidence for each god?
Do they belong to it? You can just tell me what pantheon they belong to.
It's different. There are different ones. So.
Oh, they're from multiple religions?
Yeah, and belief systems.
All right, I don't think it's necessary to tell me specific gods because they're all the same. So,
no, it's different evidence and justification for like each one.
well, just give us the one that you have the best evidence for. Just pick a god
like,
that you
I
have
have
the
an
best
equal
evidence
amount of
for
evidence
and pick
for
that
each.
one.
I have an equal amount of evidence for each. Like,
All right, then just
I-
pick
it
one.
would
Then just pick
it
one
would
of
be
them
unfair.
and just pick one and give us the evidence for that god. As long as even one of them exists, I won't be an atheist anymore.
Yeah, I would. So like, it'll just be Chinnamasta from Tantric Hinduism, and
Oh.
like the evidence. Yeah, so like the evidence for her existing would just be that like we have video evidence of her coming out of a statue and people worshiping her and her
Really?
existing physically.
Where is
Yeah.
this video?
And like, am I allowed to show it? Because like the deity she's very scantily clad. Like she's not really dressed.
You can just like tell me the name of the video and I will look it up right here on YouTube.
It's in Bengali, so like I'll just type it in the chat if that helps. Because I don't speak Bengali.
All right. Okay, can you send it to me too, please? Yeah, for sure, Sean.
I literally just am updating my computer, so I'm like, wow, perfect timing.
Okay, did you see it? And do you see it in the comments?
I do not see it in the comments. Oh, there we go. All right. Let's see. Let's see. Chinnamasta Kolkata Upasana clip.
That's not the proper pronunciation, but
Oh well.
it's fine.
All right. Let's see.
Are you on YouTube? Because it's on Twitter, so
It's on Twitter, of course.
it is. What do you mean, of course?
Yes,
It literally says it's a portrayal.
Yeah, you're looking at the wrong video. Obviously, if it's a portrayal, that wouldn't be proof of like the goddess existing. Like,
All right, here I'll type in that again into Twitter now. Let's see. Search bar. Paste. Guys, we might see a god for the first time ever. It's gonna be crazy.
It's goddess. That
well.
would be the proper term.
Oh well.
The only videos I'm seeing are like that it's a reenactment. Do you have a very specific video you'd like us to look at?
I just provided like the vocal, like sorry,
Well,
not the
yeah,
vocal,
I looked it up.
Hopefully one of these will be it. We'll see.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, this is actually better. I didn't know you could do that on yours.
All right. Is it this one?
No, because that's a portrayal.
Okay.
I could just send you. Can I post links in the chat or like?
Yeah, post a link. I'll open it up.
Well, no, I don't. Like, I feel like because then people would think that I'm trolling if I'm posting like a link, because then they're gonna assume that I'm sending.
well,
trolls
you
to
could
them.
tell us like what post, like who posted it. Like,
Oh,
if you
yeah, I
have
forgot I
that.
could do that.
Yeah, you could do that because this is just going to give us a ton of depictions.
Well, depictions and portrayals are two different things.
Well,
Why don't you just click on the media tab? That'll be easier.
Jesus Christ.
Can you give us? Can you go find the video, the specific
Oh yeah,
one that you want?
it's in my Twitter bookmarks.
Okay.
I have different folders for like each
Okay.
of the videos.
Then tell us who posted it, and when.
Oh, it's not on
It's
YouTube,
fine.
Sean. Apparently, it's on Twitter.
It's on X, yeah. I'm getting
That's a little concerning, honestly.
How's that concerning? Like, if it's a source, like I don't see like where it comes from is relevant.
Well, do you know that one, AI exists, and two, that not everything that you read
Yeah.
online.
Yeah, X literally has its own like AI bot built into it.
And that AI bot is also known to recreate porn with teenage girls' photos. So not that I
don't
this
support
ethically.
AI usage, so
Okay,
it's
well
against
you're
my personal moral values.
well you're on X, which does. So
Yeah, and I have an extension that like blocks generative AI.
I'm bored. Anyways, get to the thing. Get to the part where we actually see this goddess.
I am. I don't know why you're like getting an attitude. I'm literally scrolling my bookmarks to get the exact app for you.
I'm not
I was
giving
just-
you attitude. I'm giving you.
I didn't say
pushback.
you were giving you attitude. I didn't say you were. You've been pretty respectful.
The meta's getting boring. Come on.
I mean, I guess. I mean, this just shows you're not. Oh, shows you're not here for like actual conversations. But,
I am. It's just taking
Mhm.
forever. I'm impatient.
I mean, yeah, you should like.
Are you
focus
still?
on that
Are you?
and
Are
work
you
on it.
still scrolling? Or are you still just talking to me? Go on.
Oh no, I stopped doing that to argue with you. So.
Jesus fucking Christ.
I mean, I don't know what to tell you. Like, you want to.
Oh my God! Shut up and look for the video.
Then stop engaging with me. So I
Oh
can
my
do
God!
it.
I'll just
Like, I
mute
don't
you
know
so
what to
you
tell
don't talk to me here. You're muted now. Go fucking find the video. Oh, God. If I came up here and was like, I'm going to provide video evidence for a God, I would have the video ready. Man. Anyways. Riveting stuff here, everyone. Jesus fucking Christ. Is that one of the gods he believes in? Oh, man. Oh.
Yeah.
Did you-
It's
did
on
you-
a BJ. Yeah,
did
it's on a. Yeah, I'm just gonna post it in the chat. It's a BJP account. You know, the Bharatiya Janata Party of India. Just
Alright.
search up the title.
All
It's
right.
a government account. Also.
Well, that doesn't
for-
tell me anything. Governments are crazy. Let's see.
Well, yeah, maybe because you're from where you're from, but
Yep. No, governments are just crazy. People in government are crazy. Gosh, BJP. Okay, is it one of these?
scroll. I don't know why you didn't just go to the specific @ and then search their tweets for that like phrase.
Oh my
That would
God.
make more sense. But
Jesus Christ.
I'm just saying, like, that would make
I
more
don't
sense.
I don't fucking use Twitter.
But like it literally says Belle Delphine leaks right there. Like
Okay.
you just go back to
Okay.
that's what it says. Like clearly you use Twitter. Like I don't know.
I
what to
haven't
tell
been
you.
on Twitter in years.
Why does it show your recent search history? Like what?
Recent
Like,
search
like-
history? Recent in regards to what?
Yeah, in regards to using Twitter, like I don't know what to
I
tell
don't use. I haven't used Twitter in like I don't even know how long, dude.
you. Okay, so yeah, like it literally just showed that you did, but sure.
I don't,
know
but
what to
all
tell
right.
you.
All right. This is them.
Yeah, this is the page.
All right. Media. All right.
Yeah, search. Oh my God, search his profile.
Okay. I'm
Go
over
into
it.
click the search bar. Click the search.
I'm over it. Anyways, I'm not fucking
This
sitting
is-
here and doing 5 hours of research to find the one video. Annoying as fuck. All right. Anyways, if you're a theist and you're actually ready to have the conversation, unlike this this dumbass, then not a concession. Not a concession. You should be next time you come ready with the video. I'm not sitting here for 5 hours and looking for your sources.
Also, a Twitter video or X video
I know it's crazy.
is a wild.
Oh, typical soy atheist. Here, watch this. We'll just do that. Anyways, Darius Dark Shadow is coming up now. Darius, I'm going to ask you 3 preliminary questions, and then we'll get to the conversation. Question number 1: are you at least 18 years old?
Yeah. Yes.
Question number 2: what pronouns do you go by?
He, him.
And question number 3: are you a God believer or a non-God believer?
God believer.
All right. What God do you believe in, and why should I think it's real?
I take a classical theist position, just some entity that is necessary, that is omnipotent, omniscient, omnipresent, all the omnis.
So this deity doesn't have a name. It doesn't belong to any particular religion.
There's certainly religions that claim him, but I haven't investigated whether or not they're all true or false. So that's why I just withhold judgment and say this God for sure exists.
All right. What is the evidence that your God exists?
So I could try running the cosmological argument. Essentially, it goes like there is. Do you know what the principle of sufficient reason is?
I've heard not so very good things about it.
The PSR fails. It's you can't prove it. Like that's the problem with it.
Oh, so yeah, you can't give like a deductive argument, but you can give like an abductive argument or probably inductive argument. You can give arguments for it, and if those arguments are convincing, then we can move on.
Here.
Yeah, I don't find the PSR convincing, and I've heard a lot of different
Why not?
arguments for it.
What exactly is the PSR? Principle of sufficient reason. What does that mean?
The idea that all facts of some. Well, there's like a weak and strong PSR. So the strong PSR is that something like all contingent facts require an explanation. I think the weak PSR is only some. Let me double check.
I know, Glitter. I know.
Oh, so the weak PSR is that every contingent fact possibly has an explanation, not that it does. But I take the strong PSR.
So, okay, I can probably show through parity that you don't actually commit to the strong PSR. Because I take it to be the case that you hold that brute contingencies exist. Do you know what a brute contingency is?
Yeah, I don't hold that brute contingencies exist.
Okay. You believe in God?
Yeah.
What grounds God's decision to instantiate world X as opposed to world Y?
His nature.
Okay, is his nature variable or unchanging, or is it necessary?
Wait, did you say variable, unchanging, or necessary?
Yeah. Can his nature change, or is it necessary in of itself?
No, it's necessary.
Okay, well then the thing that's doing the explanatory work here, the grounding relation,
Yeah.
is it's being grounded in something necessary. Then you're either committed to modal collapse, where God could not have made another world, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or it is contingent, where he could have done something differently, but there's nothing that explains why it is this way as opposed to another way.
What's the issue with modal collapse?
There's no issue with modal collapse, but then you're just going to have a weird bullets to bite, saying something like the Holocaust was necessary.
The Holocaust was necessary. That's not really a bullet to bite. For
that is a bullet. That is one hell of a bullet to bite.
If you're not,
this also puts pressure on God's divine
aseity,
aseity, right? Like if God is like, so you take it to be the case that God does not have the free will to not create, for example.
So it depends on how you're defining free, and there's a couple of different ways philosophers take it. The way that you're talking about, where you genuinely could have done otherwise, obviously wouldn't apply here, because his decision is unchanging, eternal, fixed.
He could not. God could not have done otherwise. Very interesting.
But there's another. I forget who it was. There's another notion of free will which is compatible with necessitarianism. I think it's some compatibilism notion, probably compatibilism, but
but that doesn't apply here, because what we're saying is that grounding relations are saying something like how A obtains in virtue of B, right? And you've committed to saying that, well, God did not have the ability to make world X world Y when he made world X. That the thing that is doing the grounding work here is some necessary feature, which is to say that this particular world was necessarily a result of his essence or his nature, or whatever you want to say. So everything that happens in this world is just going to be necessary. It could not have been another way, and that puts pressure on any notion about God having any kind of like ability to do otherwise, like counterfactually speaking.
Yeah, well, but like, what's the is this entail a contradiction? What is the issue here?
Well, the strong PSR just commits you to modal collapse if this is the way you're framing it.
Yeah,
It's
but
not a
like,
contradiction, sure. If the
Mhm.
PSR exists, then God could not have done otherwise. He had to do exactly these actions. There are no counterfactual possibilities. It's not like, a different thing could have happened. And the full commitment here is that, well, like the predestination is a potential possibility here. Like there's moral implications on this too, right?
like what?
Well, do you think predestination is characteristic of a morally good being?
Wouldn't predestination be like a Christian, like you believe that people are either destined to be saved or not?
Well, no, it's predestination just means
Yeah,
that
well,
you
that
are.
God-
It just means you're destined beforehand to do X, Y, or Z, or to have X, Y, or Z happen to you. It doesn't just necessarily apply to salvation. It could also even
That's
mean
what-
like if it could also
That's
just
what I
mean
mean.
you are predestined to burn in the Holocaust.
So then okay. So there are specific ways people define these words in the context of theology. What you're talking about is determinism. So when I say determinism,
Well, no, not necessarily, because predestination means that it was planned beforehand, whereas in determinism, there's no agent that's planning anything.
Okay.
One is just cause and effect that just happen and occur by naturalistic means.
I don't know why.
Essentially,
I don't know why you had to say okay like that. Like I said something crazy. All right.
that's just what they mean.
Is it, I don't know. I don't.
It's just there's weird reductios here, right? Like when you say it was necessary that God created this world as opposed to another because this is the greatest possible world, right? Given that God's like will is like, I don't know, a product of or identical to his like
Yeah,
nature,
identical
something
to
like
the
that.
good.
Well, the problem is that you're gonna have to say that like every moment of grape is necessary. That one less moment wasn't even possible.
This
And
is
that-
only a reductio for an atheist. Like, how is this reductio for me?
Sorry, this isn't a reductio for an atheist. What?
No, so like this would only be a reductio for somebody who's like, well, I get my morals from whether or not I feel if that's a good thing or if it aligns with my preferences. Like that's the only time it's going to be a reductio.
I believe in objective morals, and I'm an atheist, and that's not. I would not hit that reductio at all. I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, even given your commitments, like, are you just willing to bite the bullet and say that like one less moment of baby grape is worse than one more moment? That like the extra moment, given that it's necessary and is a byproduct of God's, necessary nature, that this is the best possible outcome. That one less moment is actually worse.
Yeah, I wouldn't be comfortable with saying that one less moment would be better or worse because I don't know how that one less moment would affect literally everything else. Everything is connected. So
Wait, sorry.
that's impossible.
You're saying that if there was one less moment of grape, that you're not saying that this would be a worse outcome?
I'm not saying it would be better or worse because I flat out don't know.
But you're committed to saying it is the best outcome.
Wait, so when you say one less grape, I'm assuming that you're talking about a possible world where,
Yes.
like, yeah,
Well, you can't have possible worlds. There are no possible worlds for you.
no, there's possible worlds. They just don't.
Possible world semantics? No, you've committed to modal
Possible
collapse. What are you
worlds
talking
exist
about?
in the mind of God. He's just committed to one.
Oh, so then we're back to the question: is that if possible worlds exist, then what is grounding God's decision to create world X as opposed to world Y?
His will.
Right, and is his will a derivative of or identical to his essence?
Yes.
Okay, well, if his will and his essence is a necessary feature in him, then those possible worlds aren't possible at all.
They still would be in it. So like it depends on how you define could have been. I forget how.
Well, what? So are you saying like? So when we talk about like possible world semantics, we talk about accessibility relations, right? So we're saying something like, given, I don't know, there's a whole bunch to unpack here about causality and all these sorts of things. But if what you're saying is that in the mind of God, it could have been another way, right? But the reason that it is not that way and that it is this way as opposed to another way is grounded in some necessary feature, then it could not have been another way. That's what it means to be necessary. It could not, the necessity, the thing that's doing the grounding, the explanatory work here, is a necessary feature.
In this case, modally necessary means true in all possible worlds.
But possible world semantics has been collapsed for you by saying that this world was necessary in virtue of the fact that it's grounded in a necessary thing.
It's a little tricky here. Maybe let me double check something.
Have any reason to think that any of this God even exists in the first place? Because it seems like we're just talking about like it sounds no different than like fan fiction about a mythological being.
Yeah, there's an argument that I'm trying to give, but we're trying to get past whether or not the PSR is acceptable. He's saying that if you grant the PSR, it entails modal collapse, and he's trying to say that I have to fight certain.
I don't think it necessarily commits you to modal collapse. It depends on if you accept brute contingencies or not. Now, there could be some contingent fact. Like if this universe, World X, is contingent, right? Going back to the definition of contingent, it could have been another way, right? It's in at least one possible world, World X exists, let's just say, right? Now, if the thing that's grounding his decision to instantiate World X as opposed to World Y is some necessary invariable feature of him, then he could not have done it another way. Right? It's modal collapse in virtue of the way you respond to it. No, if you grant like brute contingencies, right? Just facts that could have been otherwise, but there are no explanations for why they are this particular way as opposed to another way, then you're kind of weakening your PSR to begin with. And I don't see why brute contingencies can't exist in nature. Just facts that, could have been another way, but there's nothing explaining why they are this way as opposed to another.
Well, I guess, yeah. So what I'm trying to say is that possible worlds are located in God's intellect, even if there's no way that God would have genuinely.
What makes them possible? What does it mean to be possible in God's intellect? If the thing doing the grounding, the explanatory work here, is like if what grounds his decision to instantiate World X as opposed to World Y is a necessary feature, then what makes it possible that World Y could have obtained?
Right. I was about to say, like, if this version of the universe is the only one that could actually exist, and it doesn't look like there are any other possible worlds.
Yeah, like you just say, like, in the mind of God.
I guess possible in this sense would be conceivable in the mind of God.
So what? But okay, conceivable. So he can conceptualize this world, but is there some fact that grounds why he chose this world as opposed to another?
Himself.
Right, and his himself is some necessary feature.
Sounds arbitrary.
Right? So it's either modal collapse or there is no explanation for why World X obtains over World Y, right? Making it some sort of brute contingency.
Okay, so let's go back. You were saying that granting modal collapse, one less grape wouldn't you are you saying that it's a reductio to say that it's not better?
Well, it puts pressure on this conception of God, right? Like if God doesn't have the ability to instantiate some other world, right? Because his necessary nature or something like that is what grounds his decision to create this world as opposed to another. Then yeah, you're committed to saying something like there are no possible worlds and every moment of grape is necessary because it is a byproduct or a derivative of a feature of his necessity.
It's evil, but it's not a gratuitous evil.
Well, okay. So yeah. So what you're saying then is that
it's necessary.
Every moment. So it would be worse because look, God's nature and His will.
Yes, it would be worse if there was
are maximally like good, right? They're identical.
If there
or at
was
least
that one less moment of grape, the world would
is
be
worse.
Yes.
Interesting bullet to bite.
It's not for Christians, which I'm not, but I'm like the world's largest religion bites these bullets. So
what does good mean then?
I feel like that's a weird. I feel like that's a weird thing for you to say if you're not actually a Christian. Are you secretly a Christian? You just didn't want to commit to Yahweh?
So No, but I find Christianity attractive for certain reasons. One of those reasons is the crucifixion and resurrection of Christ.
There's nothing.
That's a story that
There's no evidence
It
for
re-
for the resurrection, and the crucifixion is unjust.
Well, so here's the thing. We have you heard of the minimal facts argument? And I'm not trying to be like
I
a
don't
Christian
accept.
apologist
I
here,
don't accept all the minimal facts.
despite 90% of scholars agreeing with them.
Yeah, I don't care about numbers. I care about do we have any evidence? Do we have any reason to think Jesus was actually buried in a tomb?
So what's your standard of evidence?
But
Well-
the standard of evidence is what evidence we actually have. We don't have any.
Okay,
We don't have any
Yeah, but
actual.
what's your standard of-
It seems
okay,
like
what are we
normally it seems
considering
like
evidence
it's wow,
for?
gee whiz. Seems like all the evidence points to the fact that Roman criminals would not be given a proper burial, and we don't get any talk about a tomb for Jesus until the Gospels are written. All prior to that, all Christian writings don't say anything about a tomb for Jesus, and we're not
Yeah,
even
the tomb-
and we're not
the-
even and we're not even able to identify a tomb for Jesus.
The tomb, to my understanding, is a less established fact. So, but what is your standard of evidence? Like, what are we considering evidence here?
Anything
But-
that raises the likelihood that the proposition is true.
Okay,
just wanna add, Darius, like, when you-
wait, hold on, really quick. In ancient history, what are the tangible collectibles that raise the probability?
We would have
that Jesus-
eyewitness accounts, which we don't have any for Jesus.
We don't have any for Jesus.
We don't have any.
But there's-
We don't have anything written
No.
by anyone who actually knew Jesus.
Not Saint Peter.
No, we don't have any writings from Saint Peter.
Well, we have writings from Paul. Who
Yeah, Paul,
mentions Saint Peter.
yeah, but that's not Saint Peter writing, and Paul didn't know Jesus.
Darius, I just want to flag, right?
Wait.
Like, if you're taking the Habermas type minimal facts approach, there's so many problems with his formulation. One being he's never published his data. He claims that like all or like the vast majority of scholars agree to the minimal facts. There's two faults in that argument. One being the citations he uses are people who are writing about minimal facts, and the vast majority who are people who are writing about minimal facts in scholarship are using it in an effort to prove like in the same type of line of argumentation. Two, he doesn't include Arabic speaking scholars blatantly. And three, for like well over a decade, we've been asking for, well, not we, people have been asking for his data, and he refuses to publish it. So vaguely speaking, we can talk about each and every one of these minimal facts and whether or not alternate hypotheses like the RHBS model from James Fodor can account for them without being metaphysical or like without having like this ontological inflation. But
What's the RHSB?
RHBS model,
RHBS.
it's a model forwarded by James Fodor, where he can account for all of the minimal facts without invoking anything supernatural. Now, Habermas and like what's his name?
Wait, well, I'm actually curious. What is that
Lacuna?
model? What is he doing there?
Yeah, RHBS stands for reburial, hallucination, bereavement, and I forget what the S stands for, but
Oh.
Sensory perception,
maybe
or,
something like that.
or sense of presence.
Yeah, so what he's doing is he's taking the minimal facts and constructing a hypothesis that can account for all of them, while arguably, and I tend to agree with his position, is more parsimonious.
I
That
agree.
requires fewer.
No, I would say that's
But-
less part.
And Habermas,
You have all these disjoint sort of explanations to.
Well, not disjointed.
Yeah.
It's quite. I mean, listen. All it requires is that you got a guy named Jesus who gets crucified, and you get someone who's very close to him has a bereavement hallucination, namely Peter, as he's the first person for whom Jesus quote appeared to, according to Paul. And then for him to tell the rest of the disciples, as a group of Jewish people, they would do what Jewish people do in this instance. They would pray, they would fast, they would engage in exercises that would induce like feelings of ecstasy and and they would feel a sense of presence. That would all it would take for them to be confirmed in their in Peter's testimony that Jesus is alive, is if they feel a sense of presence, and then the religion spreads from there. That's all that's required.
because what the argument seeks to do, Darius, is argue that like all of these auxiliary kind of components to the hypothesis lower the probability of that hypothesis being true antecedently, right? But the problem is that when we're evaluating like through a Bayesian methodology, for example, which a lot of scholars who are doing minimal facts do, it's so arbitrary in where and how they establish their prior probabilities. Because, for example, if we were to evaluate the prior probability of a resurrection, right? How many people have ever lived on Earth? Like, what is it, 40 billion or something crazy? And according to the Christian paradigm, assuming everything that's said in it is true, we might have what, like, I don't know, a couple dozen resurrections. So our starting point for your hypothesis is at an extraordinarily low prior probability. Even if it well predicts the resurrection, I don't think we can get off the ground here on the posterior. Now,
Yeah.
this is all gibberish if you're not really familiar with the literature, but I'd like to go back to what Dalton was talking about earlier, is that like the core claims here, have to be motivated by some sort of like empirics or some, like we're talking about the eyewitness testimonies, and which we don't have for any of them.
Wait, so we don't have eyewitness testimonies for the disciples?
No, we don't have anything written by any of the disciples of Jesus. We don't know who wrote the Gospels. They're anonymous works. The only thing that we have where we know who the author is are the 7 authentic epistles of Paul. Dear Grok.
Okay,
So W pivot from the contingency
so to-
argument, just looks like.
No, yeah. So I'll probably have to do more research into the minimal facts argument. So basically, the authors that are attributed Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, that's mostly due to church tradition. You're saying that's not historical consensus?
So later, it's not. Yeah, the consensus among scholars is that these works are anonymous, and we don't know who wrote them.
Yeah, then I'll have
And
to
they're
do more
problematic
research
because
into
Darius,
that.
like Irenaeus, for example, is really the first instance of these author or these gospels being named, right? But his tradition comes from like Papias and Eusebius. Now, Papias, for example, says that Mark is not an eyewitness, right? And Papias says that Matthew wrote in Hebrew. He didn't write in Hebrew; he wrote in Greek.
Oh yeah, the
And
versions
so if we're taking
of
Matthew's,
the versions of the Gospels that we are given by Papias are unrelated completely to the versions of the Gospels we
That's
have.
fine.
He says Mark's Gospel is completely out of order, which ours isn't, and then that Matthew's Gospel is written in Hebrew and was the Saints' Gospel, which doesn't fit our description of the Gospel of Matthew we have. So wherever
Got it.
Papias is referring to is not any text we have at our disposal.
he says the Hebrew dialectical. Now, if that's Hebrew dialect or the Hebrew language, certainly the subsequent church fathers thought it was the Hebrew language, right?
Yeah.
3 of them quote Jerome, Now, the problem, the broader point I'm making here is that if Papias is the earliest kind of reference we get to these traditional authors, and he says Mark is not an eyewitness, and then Matthew is copying from Mark about his own conversion story, why is Matthew copying a person who wasn't there and copying his conversion story and writing about himself in the third person? Like, there's many problems that arise because of this church tradition as well.
Okay, maybe that's true. Going back to the contingency argument, do you have any response other than the bullets I've written, or
I have
Can we
no
move on to the argument?
I have no reason to think that it's just not an infinite series of contingent things.
well, I haven't even gotten to that part of the argument. And the infinite regress doesn't really work for this form of the argument. So if we grant the strong PSR, we can say something like there exists a conjunction of contingent facts called the BCCF, big conjunctive contingent fact. And from 1 and 2, from the PSR and the existence of this conjunction requires an explanation.
It just goes.
So,
Yeah, it requires doesn't mean we have one. It could just be that we have an infinite series of contingent things that go back ad infinitum into the past.
so you're talking about like an infinite regress. How would a
Yeah.
regress account for a conjunction? Like, what are we regressing into?
into the infinite past.
Like,
Yeah,
is
but
there? Do you think
this
it's?
is- but
Do you
this
isn't-
think
it
there's some
doesn't-
sort of?
It doesn't terminate in any like necessary being.
We're not, yeah, but like you're talking about like the Aquinas style arguments. This is a conjunction. This is not a regress of facts. So you need an explanation for the entire conjunction.
I don't understand what you mean.
So are you saying that because there exists contingent facts, the set must itself be contingent?
It's not a set. It's a conjunction.
What do you mean by conjunction?
So do you know what the and operator is?
Nope.
Okay, so in
Just
classical
assume that I
logic-
know absolutely fuck all about philosophy.
So in this, so there's a field called logic, and there's a ton of different types of logic, but the first one was classical logic, and this is the logic where you accept the three laws, right? The law of non-contradiction, the law of excluded middle, the law of identity to be true.
I have here that conjunction is the act or an instance of conjoining.
Yeah, I'm trying to explain that. So in this logical system, you have certain operators which assign truth values from propositions to
There's a LARP.
Is there any way you could explain this in a lot faster and a lot simpler?
He said no.
Are you able to explain your ideas simply?
So
Look,
take
the
the
BCCF
proposition.
is literally doing what I said. It's saying that look, there exists a set of contingent facts that they themselves, or we're just going to call, the big, what is it, big contingent or big conjunctive contingent fact,
Yeah.
right? That set itself requires an explanation.
It's not a set though; it's a conjunction.
Explain in
I'm
simple.
trying to.
Explain in simple and quickly what
So-
a conjunction is. It shouldn't require so many words.
A conjunction would be like a fact, like the sky is blue and the blanket is purple. The and conjoins those two facts. That and proposition is true if and only if the two
Okay,
conjuncts.
what
are true.
is there? Are you just saying that there are multiple facts about the universe?
Yeah.
Okay, there are multiple facts about the universe, and what explains them? An infinite
So-
series of cause and effect that goes back ad infinitum.
That wouldn't explain the conjunction.
But this
So
is
you're
the
missing that there's
composition
a
problem, Darius,
conjunction
because,
between all
look,
these facts.
What you're saying is that there exists a collection of contingent facts, right?
Not
And
a collection. Those.
Oh my
a
god,
conjunction.
conjunction does mean collection. Things which are
No, it doesn't.
a group of
What?
things which are joined together.
Specifically by the and operator, not as elements in a set.
No, that's the same exact thing. That's the same exact thing.
No, they're not.
Well,
Dude, I
you're
don't
saying
know if
A
you-
is explained by B, and B is explained by C, and C is explained by some other contingent fact.
No,
right?
no. Let me see if I could just type it out for you. Okay, P is a fact. P and Q is a fact.
P and
Okay.
Q are just two
Right.
things that are connected to each other.
So that's a contingent fact. Okay, take all of the contingent facts, conjoin them with the and operator, P and Q and R and S.
Yeah, all
And
things are joined
et cetera,
together,
et
and
cetera.
use the word "and" to describe like between every object.
Right.
Okay.
Now this is a fact.
Yes.
This whole
Objects
conjunction is a fact.
objects interact with one another, and there's cause and effect. Now
Wait,
what?
but
That
you take
doesn't
this.
explain
Wait.
the
You
fact.
take this collection of contingent facts, right? And you said it's all of the contingent facts, correct?
Yes, all of the
Okay.
contingent facts.
Well, if by all there, then the set itself would be included in itself.
that
You
is
can't
true.
say that all
it's
of the
not
contingent. Hold on, you can't say all of the contingent facts exist within this collection or whatever you want to say, and then also say that there exists another contingent fact that exists outside of that collection, because then it's not all of the contingent facts. It would
That's
be.
that's exactly
It would
the
be
point.
inside
That's
of itself.
Yes, that's exactly.
It sounds like when you sounds like when you say what is the explanation, what you really mean is that there's some ultimate explanation. You want there to be some sort of like termination of all these things. I'm not convinced that there necessarily must be
You're
such
making
a thing.
a category error when you say termination. What's terminating? We're not going backwards. This is not a set. This is not like this one after this one after. This is a conjunction of all contingent facts, which itself is a fact that requires explanation.
I don't think you're
Wait,
using these words
is it
right.
all? Is it all
I
contingent facts?
just don't think you've had.
Wait.
I just don't think
Is
you
it
have
all contingent facts?
Yes.
Okay, so then if all contingent facts are represented in this, conjunction,
Right.
then there exist no contingent facts that are not part of that conjunction, which is to say that
Correct.
the fact of the conjunction isn't contingent.
The fact. Thank you. Holy shit! You get it. Right. And if it's not contingent, it has to be necessary.
So why does that necessary thing have to be a mind?
Well, so thank you for we're gonna get there, right? But we have to establish that this necessary fact explains the BCCF. Does that make sense?
I'm still
What,
not convinced.
a necessary fact?
I'm not convinced there's a necessary
No,
thing yet.
We know you're not
What?
convinced, because
Or at least
this other person maybe is.
Well, this is my show. So, anyways, I'm a determinist. So I guess technically I think that every single fact that exists is necessary. Like it was always going to be this way.
So you're a necessitarian.
Yeah.
Okay. Why would that be incompatible with this argument?
I mean, you're just asking if there's a necessary thing. It looks like all things are necessary.
That would just be modal collapse, which is consistent with theism.
Okay, but under my model doesn't require a god. Why should I think that there's a god? Here's my question for you, actually. Are you able to give an argument for God in a way that everyone here would be able to understand what you're saying? Can you explain your ideas simply? If you can't, I'm not convinced that you actually know what you're talking about.
So I mean, remember earlier when you asked me to do that, and then I did, and you still didn't get it?
You know you didn't.
I can try. No, I did. I said,
You didn't.
This is a cat, and this blanket is purple.
Oh yeah, I understood that, but it didn't get you to
Right.
God.
Holy shit. Yeah, because we weren't there yet. My answer is I can try.
Is this your
but I can- I
is
can
this
only do
is this
so
your
much.
best argument for God?
This is probably my best argument for God. Yeah, the contingency argument.
Man, that sucks.
So are we just we're granting the strong PSR in spite of the fact that we showed through parity that you don't actually hold to the PSR unless you're committed to modal collapse, which in fact, if you are committed to modal collapse, I don't know why you're running a contingency argument.
Because
Then there
after
are no
the fact,
contingent facts.
Yeah, after the fact, we can conclude that those facts were actually necessary. But during the argument, right? It's fine.
Are these facts contingent or are they not contingent?
They're they're not contingent.
So hello?
I'm so confused by this argument.
Yeah. You know what?
Serious.
This is getting absolutely fucking nowhere. Listen,
He's a
dude,
necessitarian and running a contingency argument.
come back when you are able to explain your ideas simply in a way that everyone can understand and that it's like coherent. All right.
I'll come back when.
All right. We're gonna bring up Dipster now. Dipster, I think Dipster's a friendly though.
Dipster is a friendly.
I don't want to. It was it's accidental.
Oh, okay. Got you, buddy. Got you.
I don't know how it happened. But
You're good. I am, because this is not a day in which I am normally live. I am opening the panel up to friendlies. If you'd like to come up and ask a question, you can ask a philosophy question to Styx, or you can ask like a psychology question for Ashlyn, or you can ask a Bible question for me. Distracted Guy is coming up. Distracted Guy, are you at least 18?
I'm 23.
And what pronouns do you go by?
Say what?
What pronouns do you go by?
I'm a he, him, I believe.
All right, and
That's what you mean.
are you a God believer or a non-God believer?
I'm not a God believer.
All right, what brings you up to the panel?
I've heard a lot of things about the transcendental argument for God, and I was just curious how you would respond to presuppositional arguments like that.
The way in which I always tackle it, at least, is I always tell them to like give me evidence that transcendentals exist, and
There's a lot.
they're at least in my experience, they're not able to do so.
There's a lot of different like variations of it. So is there one in particular that you're, because like they might
I
run
don't
like a
want to
transcendental-
say the name of the person who, like, I see on this app who is pro, Christian fundamentalist who does make this argument, because I don't want to give him any steam because he's a very bad faith piece of crap in my opinion. But if I can represent the argument from the best of my memory and ability, it's the idea that an intelligent being and designer, what we would call God, is what grounds logic, and that without God, logic has no grounds and would be arbitrary.
So yeah, so to get this off the ground, right? Well, just the standard formulation is like God is the necessary precondition for logic and intelligibility. Logic and intelligibility exist, therefore God exists, right? Typically, you'll ask for like a motivating reason to accept that God is the necessary precondition, like this deductive claim, right? And they'll either stumble or they'll provide some sort of attempt. Now, some of their attempts are something as silly as saying like the impossibility of the contrary, which is
Yes, that's
just
also part of the argument, yeah.
well, that's just begging the question. The impossibility of the contrary is just a restatement of that premise.
It
right?
is.
Like,
It's just saying by its own framework, something outside of it would be impossible. Yeah, it's a presupposition. So if anything doesn't follow, it wouldn't be that presupposition. I would agree.
right. So that's one attempt. Other attempts, they'll say something like, you might get into their like, how do they know that this is the case? And they'll say something like, well, it's revealed to us through special or divine revelation, right? Well, then you can ask them, you can press them like, well, how do you know that the revelation you've received is in fact from God, or truth tracking, these sorts of things. And they'll appeal to the same kind of like fallibilist, either they'll circle back to the presupposition and say, well, I know this because God revealed it, which is, again, circular. Or if they're less sophisticated, they'll say something like, well, I trust my sensory data. I trust, the information and my cognitive faculties and these sorts of things. Well, that's appealing to the same type of like epistemic tools that we use to establish other facts, right? And
Yeah,
so
they would try and tackle you at the feet and say, well, you're using logic, which is grounded by my God, and so you must be incoherent.
What do you think, Sticks? I think the next thing to ask this person would be, what do they think logic is? Because I guarantee that I would disagree
Can I
with
tell
them.
you how I think
Yeah, what do they
I
think?
would
What-
tackle it?
yeah, I find it's so, yes, that's a good point. Like they typically don't even know what they're talking about with respect to logic. It's just a system of valid inference, right? There are many systems of inference with different axioms and these sorts of things. Typically, one of the fun ones I like to pull on them is talking about what are like some refer to as like invariables, or like these fundamental truths that allow us to reason that just can't be false just by the nature of reality. And your particular way, like your particular view on what grounds like logic, for example, is really inconsequential to them being able to prove their point. But you can ask them like, look, what does it mean to ground something? And they'll say something like, well, if they're smart, they'll say like A obtains in virtue of B. Like that's what a grounding relation is. And it's an explanatory, relation between something doing the grounding and the thing being grounded. But notice what they've done there. They've already presupposed identity. They presupposed like reflexivity. They've presupposed identity of like the thing doing the grounding and the thing being grounded, right? So how do you ground identity if identity is required ontologically prior to any sort of like grounding relation?
Are you saying that there's still they're still in effect using logic to ground itself, even if they're saying it's grounded by something outside of it? By trying to do so, they're still using logic, which undermines the whole point? Or are you saying something slightly different?
Similar, yeah. No, that's a good way of putting it. Like I don't think logic is the type of thing that is grounded. Like maybe you could say something like logic is a abstraction of reality, and therefore it's grounded.
I was about to
in reality
say,
itself.
I always say that logic is like the rules for reasoning correctly, and it's grounded in the nature of the universe itself. Like we make observations about how the universe seems to function, and then we created the rules of logic in order to like speak about the way in which the universe functions.
I guess I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just saying, like, from my own understanding or my own personal opinion, is why not just make a counter presupposition that logic is inherently grounded by something outside that is immaterial and not some kind of intelligent design or belief, but just by some fundamental law of nature, just the same way they say God is the grounding. Why not just say it's just grounded by an impersonal immaterial law of nature?
Well,
It's the same type of presupposition.
It's grounded by nature itself. It's
not to prove it wrong, but to make a counterpoint that has equal footing.
I think it's important to note that however you view logic, so like for example the three classical laws of logic, right? Law of identity. A lot of philosophers don't consider these propositions, but even if you do consider it a proposition, A equals A or something like that, right? It can be grounded in some necessary feature of reality. It's just the fact that a thing is equal to itself in the same regard, right? Like, I don't know how that could be false. And to say that God is a necessary for this type
Well,
of
it's unfalsifiable by the
relation.
nature of being a transcendental argument. So it's just as unfalsifiable as a counter presupposition of non-God grounding. So you don't have to falsify it or attempt to, because it's inherently, by being a transcendental argument, unfalsifiable by using evidence. And so I feel like the only way to properly approach this is to show that the transcendental argument itself is not sound or doesn't really like line up with how we operate in our lives or line up with reality.
Yeah, there's a lot to say here. I think, broadly speaking, if anyone in this debate community is sitting there and wondering how to deal with this argument, just get them to justify the second premise and don't accept a burden shift. Don't accept when they say something like, well, how do you ground logic, right? Because we're sitting here asking ourselves questions about if logic is grounded, if it is grounded, is it an abstraction of reality? It's not important because they're making a deductive claim to say that it's not possible for any other worldview to accommodate it, right? So get them to justify that claim and then ask them, if they reassert the claim by saying impossibility of the contrary, just recognize that is just a restatement of that second premise or first premise, depending on how it's formulated.
I see. That makes sense. I guess the only other issue is not with the soundness of their argument, but with just the type of person you're arguing with, that they're being bad faith and try to interrupt you and force you to work within their line of thinking, and if not, to get aggressive. That's something that I see a lot with bad faith arguments. I really think it's important not to give these people any kind of platforming or interaction, because without
I agree.
Opposition, they kind of just die out in their own echo chambers. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree.
People who don't get engagement, and they eventually just lose viewers, and they just stop having engagement.
That is definitely the idea. I agree. It's a good principle to go by. Don't engage if you know that someone's like not going to actually like have good faith engagement with you, like Darth Dawkins, for example. Just don't engage.
Oh,
with
that's the guy I was talking about, but I didn't want to say his name.
Oh yeah,
for the exact reason.
Gare Bear.
Gary is his real name.
Everyone should just stop engaging with Gare Bear, and eventually he won't have anyone to talk to, and then he'll actually have to get a life or something like that. I don't know.
Or some miserable 65-year-old.
Oh yeah, you should talk to my friend Ichthyist on here. He's got a whole paper he's written, basically a whole paper written on Darth Dawkins and his like personality problems. So that's a brutal takedown of Darth Dawkins. So him, Q-Top, Russell, these are people we just shouldn't entertain anymore. I agree.
And I think Precept Mars, he already fell victim to this whole thing of losing engagement and getting delegitimized, which is great because it openly, admittedly says he likes underage girls. That's what P. Mars probably lost his credibility for, which is great because he does. What a loser.
Was he ever legitimized?
Yeah, you can't be delegitimized if you were never legitimate to begin with. That's another one. River Fate, Deathless Light. It's another one that we should just stop and like entertain because he is.
J-Rob.
Like out of all the people I've ever interacted with, Deathless Light is the most mentally unstable.
No degree required. Oh yeah, Deathless Light is.
Really?
There's something.
Yeah.
I don't think I've seen anyone be more mentally unstable than P. Mars.
Oh, and you need to go.
There's someone who works in that.
Go watch Unapologetic and type in Deathless Light on Unapologetic, and just
I don't take P. Mars to be mentally unstable. I take P. Mars to be a bad person.
Yeah.
I started watching what looked like him just being completely unstable, like the last little bit of the lives that I saw.
Deathless Light. One of the recent videos I watched we can hear a little bit of the audio from Deathless here. Wait a minute.
Hey, Deathless Light. Deathless, wait. Holy fuck. This is like way more embarrassing. You don't need to make the replay better than it already is, Deathless. It's already a plenty good replay. There's no need. You don't need to act and pretend. You don't need to throw for us, Deathless. You don't need to commit optical, rhetorical suicide.
Yeah, it's him in the background just screaming.
Sounds like an extinction burst. Like he's just like losing his last little grip with reality.
Yeah.
Why does he sound like Dr. Cox to me from Scrubs?
No, don't defame Dr. Cox like that.
I'm sorry. He sounds like Dr. Cox to me.
Someone said, was that with Ian? Yeah, this is from Unapologetic. Just type in Deathless Light crashes out hard after ChatGPT syllogism fails. It's a great video. I watched it all a couple days ago. It's good shit. Anything else you would like to talk to us about, Distracted Guy?
not without going off on a huge tangent. So I'd rather just be able to chime in because.
Oh, I do have to keep the panel somewhat low for opposition and friendlies to come in for the questions. But
well, I don't have anything else small to bring up.
All right. Well, hey, thank you for coming up and asking your question.
Yeah.
Also, I love the fact that it was like the Good Doctor, but like Avatar.
Someone says Deathless can't debate a toddler, let alone an AI. Don't let him around toddlers.
Don't let him around toddlers. Hey, Equality, buddy. How you been? You're muted, bud.
Hi, Equality. Oh, bye, Sticks. Thank you for coming up.
Yeah. Equality might be doing something else. They're just up here to hang out.
I always learn so much when Sticks is here.
Oh yeah, me too. Don't forget, everyone. If you're on YouTube and you're a Christian or you're a friendly who would like to call in and ask a question, you can do so by calling in the show at tinyurl.com/Bible Guy Guest. It's at the top of the screen, at the top right hand of the stream. You can see where you can call in there in order to participate in the conversation. Nathan says, is a God or higher being exist in nature, separate the Abrahamic God? I can't. It seems like, from what I can tell, all of the gods of mythology exist within the cosmos. They're a part of the cosmic order. They're just a higher being within the cosmic order. You really don't get the concept of God existing outside of space-time until much later. And it's a Christian claim, and it's not even it's not even biblical, as you know. The Bible never makes the claim that God exists outside of space and time. What the hell does it means existing outside of space and time is what they mean by higher being. Have y'all heard of told?
There were drugs involved.
Have y'all heard of the Toldot Yeshu? It's so funny. As far as I know, the Toldot Yeshu is, or Toledot Yeshu, is it's a Jewish recapitulation of the Gospel of Matthew with changes to it that was created by Jewish people in the medieval period. Hamjo says Jesus is real. He was real, but now he's dead. His bones might be real, but him as a person, no longer a real thing. Deathless' entire debate strategy is just proclaiming he won. That is true. Yeah. I feel worried. I feel worried for any woman that he manages to trick into bed with him. As soon as he gets done, he goes, I won. Just yelling at her that he's won. He is alive. I don't think he is alive, but you're more than welcome to call in and give us a reason to think he is alive. I'm convinced he's dead. So you always base your concept from the Bible / Torah. Well, I mean, when we talk about what is Yahweh like, then our best way of knowing what Yahweh is like is going to be from the primary sources, being the works of the Hebrew Israelites. Shadow Slays is a friendly. Shadow Slays, welcome to back to the show, Shadow Slays. I guess you have a question for us. What's up, bud?
Yep. Let me just step out really quick. 2 seconds. Sorry. Okay. So, I have a Bible trivia for you. Now,
this is either going to be me showing off or me learning something. So we'll find out.
Where and when in the Bible does someone do super speed?
Talking about Elijah, after defeating the cultist of Baal, he has to travel to a new place, and he is given super speed.
That is correct. 1 Kings 18:46. Elijah runs faster than a chariot against Ahab.
Yeah.
Well done.
And we got super speed. We got super strength with Samson. The Justice League is hidden in the Bible, y'all.
Poke, I cannot say this. It can't come up, but they have a question for you, Dalton, to talk about what the Bible says and then the new covenant is.
So a covenant, to start off with, a covenant is a contract. It is a pact, an agreement between two parties. So God makes lots of covenants throughout the Bible with his people. And then under Jesus, there's an idea that there's a new covenant, a new agreement. And this agreement was prophesied in the book of Jeremiah. Although what's different about the new covenant as it's presented in the New Testament versus the way that the new covenant is portrayed in the Hebrew Bible is that in the New Testament, the new covenant is made with all peoples, Jew and Gentile alike. If you go and you read the prophecy of Jeremiah, though, Jeremiah only says that the new covenant is made with, quote, the house of Israel and the house of Judah. In other words, the Israelite people, with only the Israelite people. It's never made with Gentiles.
Also, while we've kind of got a pause, we don't have a new guest coming up. Make sure on TikTok you are tapping that screen, sharing out the live, reposting, and sending your daily heart me. On YouTube, and there are 177 of the watching. Make sure to hit that like button, and if you can, you send super chats. Remember, we're supported by super chats alone. And the reason that Dalton is able to do this is because of y'all. So it is always appreciated if you are able.
Now, with the new covenant, the question is, what are the new stipulations? What are the new agreements that are made? According to the Gospels, the new agreement is that through Jesus, now one can attain eternal life through obedience to him and his commandments. And then if you ask Paul, it also means that people no longer have to keep certain segments of the Torah anymore. So that's what the new covenant refers to. Shadow Slays, any other trivia or any questions before we let you go?
No, that's pretty much it. Okay, so I wanted to also say thank you for the other day, for helping me out with that, because you like popped up right at the right time for you to like help me out with a verse. So I want to say thank you for that, and also it was good to see Ashland as well. So thank you all for having me. Okay, later.
Absolutely.
Bye.
I almost forgot about that. David is here. David always has great questions. David, what's our question today?
Hi, Dalton. Hi, Ashland. I had a question regarding the book of Daniel, chapter 7.
All right.
It says that four great beasts came up from the sea, each different from the others.
Mm-hmm.
Why does Daniel represent human empires as like these increasingly monstrous creatures? And what does that transformation imply about like his conception of political power?
Yeah, it's a good question. It's picturing the non-Jewish people as beasts because it's a way of dehumanizing them and showing them as being less than, which is why when the people of Israel are conceptualized later in this chapter, they're not presented as a beast. They're presented as being one like a son of man, a human being. So they are humanized while the nations are dehumanized and bestialized, if you will, to show that they are like primitive, that they are ravenous, that they are not civilized.
So that he's just simply personifying the non-Israelite kingdoms?
Yes. Yeah. Being Babylon, then the Medo-Persians, then the Grecian Empire, and then the Seleucids.
Interesting. Okay.
Also presenting them specifically as predators because they prey upon the Jewish people.
Okay. And does Daniel 7 itself give us enough information to identify the one like the Son of Man as an individual? Or does the surrounding text suggest like a collective representation of the people?
There are two positions that I've heard from scholars. There's one that I find more compelling, but the two positions are one that the one like a Son of Man figure is meant to be an individual, and that individual is Michael the Archangel or some sort of angelic being. The one who the scholar who holds this position would be like John J. Collins and his work on the Daniel Bible Hermeneutic Commentary. The other one, which I think is, at least I feel is more likely based on the data, is that the Son of Man figure is a representative of a kingdom, being the kingdom of Israel. But of course, because it represents a kingdom, it must also represent whoever would be the king of that kingdom. So therefore it's the kingdom of the Israelites and their future king of Israel, which, you know, we would now designate such a figure as being the Messiah, although, you know, the author of Daniel doesn't like think of terms like the Messiah. They just think of this as a king, the king of Israel at the time, not necessarily like an eternal being. But it's obviously also representative of a multitude, because in one passage it says that the one like the Son of Man, that all nations will serve him. And then later on in the passage it says, it refers to the nation of Israel as a whole, how all nations will serve them in the plural.
Okay, so there's two scholarly positions on this question.
Yes. And I happen to side with the one where the Son of Man represents the kingdom of Israel as a whole, but I have yet to read all the way through John J. Collins' commentary. So who knows, maybe he might be able to present a better argument for it being like Michael the archangel.
Okay. Why does Daniel need an interpreter?
Yeah, like why is it that, you know, he has the vision, and then he has like an individual who comes up and then interprets the vision?
Yeah, like what's the point of repeatedly requiring an interpreter, and what does that tell us about like Daniel's authority of the visions?
Yeah, well, no, it's just that this is typical in the ancient world, that people would have dreams, and then they would have like wise men who would come about and give interpretations to the dream. And this is just presenting Daniel as being the recipient of the dream, and then requiring, like anyone else would, an interpreter to the dream. One of the most famous examples of this being the book of Genesis. Pharaoh has the dream, Joseph interprets the dream, or later, and even in the book of Daniel, Nebuchadnezzar has the dream, and then Daniel here is the interpreter of the dream. Although most scholars would think that Daniel 7 was written at a different time than Daniel 2, which is maybe why Daniel's presented a little bit different. But in Daniel 7, Daniel is just the recipient of the dream, and the celestial being is the one who gives the interpretation. It's just how normally this relationship functions in the ancient world.
Okay, and they just figured that would be easily like related to.
Yeah, it would just be like, this is what you expect when in a narrative where someone has a dream, someone comes along and gives the interpretation.
Okay, and in Daniel 12, it states that multitudes who slept in the dust of the earth will awake.
Yeah.
Some to everlasting life, others to shame and everlasting contempt. Does that represent an earlier form of Jewish resurrection theology? Does the passage just presuppose the development concept of postmortem judgment?
Yeah, both. This is our first and only, as far as I'm concerned, reference to actual physical resurrection of the dead in the Hebrew Bible. And it's an idea that developed because eventually the Jewish people came to an understanding that God's supposed to deal justice out, and yet there are righteous people who die without ever receiving their justice. And then there are wicked people who never get judged. And so they eventually had to come up with a theology that would allow for God to be the dispenser of judgment and for everyone to receive their just deserts. And so they came up with the concept of, well, they'll just be brought back from death, and then everyone receives their just deserts. A good book on this topic, if you want more detail on the development of afterlife ideas in Judaism and then later Christianity, is going to be Bart Ehrman's book, Heaven and Hell, A History of the Afterlife.
Heaven and Hell, A History of the Afterlife. Perfect.
Blase says Ezekiel talks about it too, although there Ezekiel's is a vision and it's representative. It's not actually meant to be taken literally as if people are actually raising from the dead. This is a representation of the people of the nation coming back from death, as in coming back from the exile.
All right. Well, that was all my questions on Daniel. I appreciate your help, Dalton.
Happy to help, David. Have a wonderful day.
You too.
Alrighty then.
I just want to call out Lone Wolf again in the comment section, who I told to request up, and their microphone is broken. There's excuses after excuses from Lone Wolf. Headphones are not expensive, and they generally come with microphones, Lone Wolf.
Doesn't a cell phone have a microphone built into it?
Yeah, apparently their cell phone microphone is broken.
What? Wow, crazy. What they like? There are theist who keeps like making
Yeah,
claims without bringing a
Lone
substantiation.
Wolf. They're in here all the time.
Oh well. Well, like you say, cowards are going to be cowardly. I don't know what to tell you. You know, it is what it is. What does this say? This is a question for the human mind. Well, since the only individuals that can answer questions are humans, that's obvious. If there is nothing, where did that nothing come from? There is not a nothing. There's never been a nothing. Nothing. To say that nothing exists is an incoherent statement. Nothing cannot have ontology, or else it would be something.
I muted Lone Wolf to see if they can maybe borrow some headphones from a neighbor. Then they can come up.
Oh, man. Yeah, but anyways, everyone make sure you're tapping that screen. Send out their super chats if you want to support the show, and call in if you have questions or you would like to be opposition.
Saint Brianna says that they have a question for me.
Oh.
What's up, Saint Brianna?
AK Borio says, hello fam, hello. If they give me a shipping address, I will mail somebody a spare pair of headphones with a mic. No excuse. You are without excuse, you reprobates. Oh. Here we go. Saint Brianna, howdy, partner. What's your question for Ashlyn?
Hi.
Hey, sorry, give me a second. Turn this fan off. Yeah, so my question for Ash was, in psychology, is there like a specific reason as to why human beings like want to have this all-knowing creator? Is it because like we fear the unknown, or like we don't know everything? Because like human beings like like we want to know everything. So is that like a
It's probably
psychological thing?
It's probably useful, from what I understand, at least from evolutionary psychology, from a number of different perspectives. Because remember, the gods differ among cultures; they serve different purposes. But one probably big reason, like Dalton talks about, is that hyperagency detection. But another one that I like to talk about is if a god is on your side during hunting or battle or anything like that, it's very much it's you're able to do more courageous things. You're able to have that feat of strength. It's if you are a part of a community, that's one thing, but if you have this higher being or anything else, you're more likely to do the courageous action because of the belief systems behind it. Also, the fear of abrupt death and not having something afterwards, when part of like the proliferation of species is wanting, like there's an innate thing about us in pretty much every species, is the want to continue to exist. And a god provides that, or just an afterlife provide that as well. So I wouldn't say that it's one thing. I would say that it's a multiplicity of things. And depending on the values and the culture, you're going to find different aspects of God to represent that.
If I may add to that too, like the human brain as it evolved and developed, it gained like incredible inferential power, right? Like it's really biologically expensive for the brain if it were to store facts individually. So for example, if our brain was just this giant library where it had separate propositions like fire burns, or this fire will burn me, or like, a stove burner will burn me. If your brain stored individual facts like that, it's really, really energy intensive and it's not very efficient. And so evolution corrects for that and instead gives us inferential power. So the ability to make predictions and kind of reason toward the best conclusion given some basic facts. And as the human brain developed, it gained what was called mortality salience. So the ability to predict our own mortality, right? Like a dog doesn't know that eventually it's going to die. But our brain gained that predictive power. It started to recognize patterns that everyone we've ever witnessed has died, and these sorts of things. And that's extremely that's uncomfortable for the brain to realize that, right? And so this kind of notion of like an afterlife and a God and these sorts of things is extremely comforting. It's literally just the brain's coping mechanism with the self-realization that we're probably going to die. So there's the good reasons why the brain has a proclivity to, hold on to these beliefs.
And the stories that how we communicate and do this wind up as stories that give these anthropomorphic perspectives on gods. I think one of my favorite quotes is oh my god, now I'm forgetting it. Dalton, you know the quote about if horses and zebras.
Xenophanes said if horses had legs, then the god and could speak, then they would make gods that look like horses.
Yeah, and this aspect, I think it's in many different cultures that you see, like depending on the environment, you have more punitive gods, and then other environments have egalitarianism, and it's just dependent on the environment, which I think lends to me more reason to suggest that gods aren't real. They're just stories that humans tell to cope with reality.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm going to look into it more, Brandon. It's called a component of this is called terror management theory. There's a lot of literature and write-ups on it.
Yeah.
Anything else, Brianna?
No, I really do agree with what Ash and Stick said. I guess, 'cause like since our brains are more like evolved and we know more about like the universe, I guess in a way it kind of sort of is okay to say that believing in God is kind of like a coping mechanism, because it does make you feel good just knowing that, hey, like if I believe in this God, then it's going to make me feel confident or just feel good about myself. I mean, like before, I really didn't say it was a coping mechanism, because I was thinking, well, I don't know. Well, to be honest.
Yeah. Also, I know what you meant by this, and this is only just semantic, I guess you could say. We're not more or less evolved than anything else, because there's not a timeline in that sense. There's no going forward and backwards. Yeah. But I get what you're saying. There's like seemingly this higher level of intellect as humans themselves evolved.
Yeah, definitely. But I guess that's it. Thank you for your time. Thank you for answering my questions.
Absolutely.
Always great to hear from you.
All right.
Yeah, of course. I'm gonna jump right down.
All right. Next, we're gonna bring up a guest from the YouTube side of things. We got here Josh coming up. Let me make sure that my mic and all that is turned on today. Okay. Yeah. All right. Let's see. Josh.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Hello, Josh. Can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you.
All right. Fantastic. Josh, I'm going to ask you 3 preliminary questions, and then we'll get to the conversation. Are you at least 18?
Yes, I'm 30.
And what pronouns do you go by?
He, him.
And are you a God believer or non-God believer?
I'm a friendly, so I'm just going to keep it quick. It's actually a huge thank you to you and Justin. You guys helped me finally get over the line and let go of the last bits that I was holding on to. And believe it or not, it was prophecy. And it's funny because even as a child, I was told by everyone, oh no, Jesus fulfilled those prophecies. And I would then they would, throw me, typology and stuff, and I was like, oh, okay, it must be true then. And I kind of
Here,
held
one
on to
second.
that.
I'm gonna have you help me test something out because I keep getting told that there's like an echo. So guys, I'm gonna try something, and then we're gonna see if this fixes the echo. Okay, if I click on this, okay, Josh, say something for the audience, and then the audience will let me know if they hear an echo. All right, did y'all hear an echo just now on TikTok? You didn't hear him at all. Okay, so that makes it to where you can't hear him at all.
We wouldn't. Oh, I heard him.
No, I never heard an echo.
Oh, you don't hear an echo at all. Okay, no, they say no echo. Then okay, at that point, if I push that, if I push that, then there's no echo. Fantastic. I'll keep that in mind. Okay, yeah. So what about typology now, Josh?
Playing like the virgin birth one, and I'm like, oh my god, it's like it's right there. Like it's literally not about something 700 years in the future. It's literally trying to help someone in the present, worrying about if his kingdom will be destroyed. How did we go? So it's like looking back, it's unbelievable that the lies were so obvious looking back, but now you kind of feel silly that you were duped for so long. But I just wanted to say thank you to you and to Justin, because I don't know where I'd be if I was still trying to hold on to this stuff, but you guys gave me that last push.
Oh, I'm so happy to help. And you know what? Just for a little bonus stuff, I have a video on my channel that you might be interested in called Typology Debunked. And I give two arguments for why typology doesn't work for proving Jesus is the Messiah. One that even uses Harry Potter as an analogy, and you'll see how in that video, and then other reasons, but you'll it's a good video. I think you'll enjoy it.
Yeah, I actually did watch that because, the typology stuff, because that was the thing that was drilled into my head. And I was like looking for anything that was like addressing that. And then I saw this and I saw other stuff as well. But I did see that video and I was like, yeah, of course, like anyone can fulfill the typology. Heck, I can fulfill it if I try hard enough. So,
yeah, precisely. Yes.
Yes, that's basically all I want to say. So just a huge thank you and keep doing what you're doing. There's a lot of people who probably don't come up who have been affected by you guys. You're doing stuff that's helping people, so keep doing it.
Thank you. I needed to hear that. You have a wonderful day, Josh.
You too. Bye.
All right. We're gonna bring up now typology, the study of typing. No, study typology, Brianna, is the idea that there are people, places, events and institutions of the Old Testament that foreshadow in almost a prophetic sense the people, institutions, and events of the New Testament. But again, everyone, if you want to know why this is not a valid form of interpretation, just go check out my video Typology Debunked on the YouTube channel. All right, we got here, we're going to bring up Vinny's cousin, and then after Vinny's cousin, we'll bring up James Alkinson. So Vinny's cousin is a friendly, but just I'm going to do the same I always do for everyone. Are you at least 18? What pronouns do you go by? And obviously by your non-believer, because you're a profile pic. Mistake. Oh, it was a mistake. Okay, I got you, bud. Gotcha. All right. James Atkinson. James, are you at least 18 years old? Are you at least 18 years of age?
Hello, can you hear me?
Hello, James. Are you at least 18?
Yes, I am. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. And what pronouns do you go by?
I am E.
And are you a believer or non-believer in a God?
I am a believer.
All right, I'm Dalton, the Bible guy.
Some question.
You are a little bit quiet. Is there any way you can
Can
turn?
I ask some question?
Yeah, we can ask a question in just a second. Is there any way you could turn up your mic volume, or yes, you can ask a question in a second. But first, you're a little bit quiet. Is there any way you can speak up or get closer to the phone? Turn up your mic.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
What is this? Oh, I don't understand.
I need you to
Can you hear me?
James, if you are not able to hear anything, well, I know you're able to hear what we're saying because you answered the first two questions.
Can you hear me?
All right.
Can you hear me?
All right, James. Sorry if you're not able to have a conversation, then I guess you're not able to have a conversation. Anyways, that was something special. All right, fantastic. I think we're gonna do a restart on TikTok, and then we'll continue with the conversations. All right, I'll see you all in just a hot second. Man, I'm so quick with it. Lade says first. You indeed were first. You indeed were. Because I'm a nerd. Hell yeah. Oh. Speaking of which, how many more days left? Let's see. We got 17 more days until the Blood of Dawnwalker comes out. I'm so excited. That's like a little bit over 2 weeks from now. Spicy Alamo says last. You know what they say? The first will be last and the last will be first. So we won't see you in 17 days. You will still see me. You will still see me. You won't see me very often whenever Fable comes out, which won't be until February. So we're good.
I'm making dinner, by the way.
Oh, me too. I'm cooking Christians. But anyways, everyone tap that screen, share the live out. Hopefully we'll get some theists in here who actually would like to defend the proposition that God is real in some manner. We'll see. I don't have a lot of faith, obviously. Nothing like some Texas barbecue. Oh yeah, we do barbecue good here in Texas, that's for sure. New Fable does look badass. It does look badass. Dalton, do you think the universe is contingent or necessary? Well, because I'm a hard determinist, I'm inclined to side with the idea that it's necessary. The things that are the way they are and could not have been otherwise. Can you still kick chickens? You can still kick chickens. All right. James wants to give it another try. Maybe now James will be able to have a conversation with us. Agamemnon says soy, which means I am in Spanish. James, are you able to hear me now?
Hello, can you hear me now?
I've been able to hear you this whole time. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
All right. James, why should I think your God is real?
No, I just want to have some discussion with you. Can I have some discussion?
Yeah, that's what this whole thing's about.
Okay. Do you see any benefit in religion?
It can have benefits, but I think I think the benefits are not outweighed by the cons, by the detrimental aspects of it.
Okay, as someone that you are a science, right? Do you believe that we are animals, like human beings are animal?
Yeah, but even religion says this. If you read it's not a conversation if you interrupt me. But even religion says as much. If you read like works of like Thomas Aquinas, for example, who was like one of the preeminent Christian philosophers, they describe that humans have an animal body, but we have a rational soul. So we are obviously animals.
And no, animals, they thrive towards their survival, right?
They try to what?
Thrive towards thrive towards their survival.
So do we.
Okay. Now, just like animals, just like domestic animals, they need someone to like tame them, to direct them. Like dogs, like cats, they need someone to direct them, to guide them, right?
They don't need it. Like
no, like dogs, let's say domestic animals, they need someone to like guide them, to make them right.
Well, they don't need it. They have it though. Like a dog. There are lots of domestic dogs that could survive out in the wild.
But let's say their life extension, is it high or low?
Say what?
Their life extension, let's say their survival.
Oh, their life expectancy. Yeah, like it depends on the dog. Some dogs would survive well in the wild. Like a Chihuahua probably might not be able to survive all that long in the wild because of predators. But a larger dog, like maybe like a Great Dane or a Husky, something like that, might survive longer in the wild.
Just FYI, the reason that humans' life expectancy is longer is because we figured out evolution. Our biomedicine that increases our life expectancy depends on evolution being true. So the fact that you notice that is one of the evidences that evolution is true and that we are animals. Another reason for this is these trials that increase our life expectancy are done on animal models like mice and rats, pigs, and other species that need evolution to be true in order for them to be predictive models to create the medicine that increases our life expectancy.
I am finding out right now that there are, in fact, wild packs of Chihuahuas in Mexico.
Yes, there are.
Can I talk?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, just like animals, they move in packs, right, to increase their chances of living. They group themselves in packs, right?
Yeah, just like
together.
Yes, just like humans.
Just like humans. But just like in the pack, they always have a leader, right?
No, not necessarily. The idea of wolves having an alpha is false. It's not real. It's not true.
It's generally an older couple that may have a certain hierarchy, but the term coined by the scientist alpha was retracted after years of study, so it's just not true.
Okay. Even like bees now, let's say bee or ant colony, they also have like someone like alpha or something like that.
They have a queen, and the queen is protected because of the ability to lay eggs. And bees are a really bad example because there are different types of males. It's like there's no like system there's no like a bimodal system like we have. There are certain ones that go out and find flowers, and they use like buzzing, and then there are worker types, and then there are supporting types. It's this, and they can morph into one another depending on different things. And
but the more communal, maybe the more they work together, the chance of them surviving is high, right? The more they work together, the more
just like us, high, right? just like the animal that is humans. The reason we're able to survive better is that we work together as a social group.
Okay. Now, as human race, we are divided by ethnic group, culture, and country, right?
That's because of how widespread we are, and because we're extremely social.
Ethnic group, culture, and
I'm very
gender,
confused
right?
on what this has to do with God.
Yeah, what does this have to do with God being real?
Yeah, and just like this, we need something to like unite us irrespective of our differences, right?
Oh yeah, we can all be united under the banner of secular humanism.
Can you hear me?
Did you hear what I said?
Religion certainly
observe
doesn't do
something
that.
among
Religion
black.
is responsible for a lot of war, so
Wait,
it's certainly not religion
sorry.
doing that thing.
Yeah. Religion doesn't unite people. It actually creates tribalism. It creates an us versus them mentality.
Okay.
Especially religions like Christianity, Islam, Judaism, the Abrahamic religions have a lot of tribalism embedded within them. Luckily, when we have something like secular humanism, the only tribe that exists is the human tribe, which we all belong to.
Okay. Okay. Can I talk?
Yes, when I'm done talking,
Let's
that's the
say,
part
I
where you
noticed
talk.
something among black atheists.
God.
Sorry, my bad. Now, I noticed something among black atheists and again white race atheists. They tend to be much more ethnic nationalistic once they become atheists. They don't feel any need to work together again. Like black atheists move towards a black nationalistic view. And
Really, because there are plenty of white atheists and black atheists who are friends with one another who are not tribalistic, and that has nothing to do with atheism. Atheism is not a creed. It's not a religion. It doesn't give you any dictation on how to act. The only thing that all atheists have in common is that we don't believe in gods. However one might act is going to be due to a different worldview.
And James, if there's division in the United States between black and white individuals, James, I know I when I'm speaking, it's like hard for you as a man not to speak over me, but we can hold off for a second, please. The relationship between black individuals and white individuals in this country an atheist have to do with the fact of the years of segregation, racism, and systemic injustices. So there's a lack of trust from the black community to us as white individuals. There's nothing to do with atheism versus Christianity. It has to do with years and years and years of oppression by white individuals.
Yeah. So why should I think your God is real now?
Okay. May I talk?
It seems like your entire argument is just going to be you think that there's utilitarian value in Christianity. I don't know why you talk in the middle of me talking. So you think that there's utilitarian value in Christianity. I don't care about that because I have a lot of utilitarian value in secular humanism. The only thing I'm concerned with in this conversation is whether or not your God actually exists, not whether or not your particular religion has any sort of benefit to you.
No, I'm just trying to prove the benefit of religion.
I don't care about wait, that's not what the live's about. This live is not about the benefits of religion. It's whether or not the God actually exists.
Okay, so you're cracking. Maybe I don't.
The live here, I'll say it really slowly. This live is not about the benefits of religion. This live is about whether or not God is real.
At least But do you believe that there is let's say we are human beings has a purpose on this earth?
I